Hello everyone, my name is Oluwatomiloba Onasanya. I am a Microsoft Excel student ambassador. I am also an accounting and CIS major at Grambling State University, and today I'll be taking you on the Formula Bar and Grill case study file for April 2025. So let's dive into it. So as you probably know, definitely for you to be watching this video, this is for the Microsoft Excel Collegiate Challenge 2025, the April edition. So we'll just quickly read through the instructions and see what we are being asked to do here. So it says you have recently opened a fully autonomous dining establishment. There are concierge bots that speak with customers to take their orders and chef bots that prepare the food. The restaurant is open 7 days a week from 10 o'clock to 9 o'clock or 21 o'clock to 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Basically, your task is to analyze the first month's performance and business operations. Data in your first month of operations, June 1st, 2024 to June 30th, is provided on the historical orders tab. So basically, this tab right here, we have all the data we need to answer the questions. And it says for each order, you will find the order number, the dates, the time, the order tickets, the items in the order, and the ticket customer order. So we're going to basically go through the historical orders tab later, but let's continue. It says the menu. The restaurant offers 10 menu items across three categories listed in the table below. Prices for each item are provided in the table below. So we have the menu with all the information we need about all the items that are being sold. So we have the menu items like cheeseburgers, bacon burger, the Western burger, hot dogs, deluxe dogs. Some of them I haven't even heard most of these before. Uh, there's also the categories. So apparently, bacon burgers are entrees. Is that how to pronounce that? I hope that's how to pronounce that. There are sides, there are also drinks, and the prices for all these menus and the codes. So definitely, obviously, we're going to use them later. Before we go into the questions, let's just review the order tab section. So as you can see, it's basically as they said, the order number, the dates, the order time, order tickets, the item codes in the tickets, the customer order. So this is basically what the customer said, and then with this we get the order tickets and the item code is basically just this but separated. So yeah, that's all we have in the historical order. So let's get started. We have the bonus questions first. So with the bonus questions, it tells us it's related to which level. The first bonus question is not related to any level, so we'll probably do that first. The second, third, fourth, and fifth are related to their respective levels, so we're not going to do those ones yet. We're going to do them later. Solving the first bonus question, since it doesn't relate to any level, it says, what is the maximum number of orders placed in a single day? So one order consists of the order tickets, and the example is order number 1776 is one order. So it's being placed in a single day. This is what it means. There are different orders, but different orders are placed in the same day. As you can see, there's 1777, 1778, but they are placed in the same day. So what we can do is we can use the group by function to basically group all the orders by the date, and then we can find out how many there are. So the group by function, and then in this case the row field will be the dates, and then the values would be the orders, and we're going to be using the count function for it. Doesn't involve summing. So count, and so this is its grouped by, and sorry, it appears like this because Excel, it's in the general format. Let's change this to short dates. Change the entire column to short dates, and so we see that it is grouped by now, by each date. So what we can do is simply go here and find the maximum number of orders here. So this shows the amount of orders in a single day. Oh, let's remove the total. So the answer is 332. We move on to the next one. Because like I said, because this one's related to other levels, we're not going to be doing them now, so we're going to do them later. So the level 1 says, what time was each order number submitted? So if you go back to the historical data tab, we can see that there is a section for time, order time. So it shows what time each order was submitted. So we just need to retrieve what time each order that we've been given was submitted. And to do that, we're going to use probably my favorite tool in Excel. I tell everyone I talk to Excel about, that's the XLOOKUP. So I just feel it's very cool and very efficient. So we're going to use the XLOOKUP, and we're going to be searching for this order number within the order number column, and then we're going to be returning the time which it was ordered. So an XLOOKUP, and we're going to be searching for this within the order number, and then like I said, we are going to be returning the order time. So that gives us this time. Now before we drag it down, we have to make sure we're using absolute referencing. So F4, 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 F4. Good. So let's see if that's correct first. It says you can just copy this. Okay, so we've copied that. Now let's drag it up to see if that's correct. Okay, so it's correct. Good. Just going to delete everything. So drag this down, and that gives us everything. Next one, we have the level 2. It says how many characters, including the slash sign, are in the order tickets associated with each given order. So they give us an example. In order 1176, there are 23 characters because you have the BB/SS. If you count everything here, it gives you 23. So that should be very easy. So basically, the first thing we need to do is to return this, or yeah, in this case, to return this, the orders, and then we can count how many characters are in them. So to do that, we also use the XLOOKUP again, and we're going to be searching for the order number in, we're basically doing the same thing, but the return column will be different. So we're going to be searching for it here, and then we're going to be returning the order ticket. So we've returned it, and this is what it brought out. Now that's not all. We are asked how many characters are included in it. So to find how many characters are included, we're going to use a function called len, L-E-N, and it says here that it returns the number of characters in a text string. So we're going to basically use it for it. I like nesting formulas, so that gives us 17. Now before we drag it down, remember you have to lock the cells, so to make them absolute, so they don't go changing as we drag them down. So yeah, and then once again we can just copy this and then try it on the example to see if we're correct. So 23, we are correct. So now we can drag it down. Okay, we have level 3. So things are getting harder now. It's medium. It says how many items are present in the given order. How many items are present in the given order? So for this, we are also going to use an XLOOKUP. I love XLOOKUPs. I've said that already, but we're also going to be using an XLOOKUP. So I'm going to show you two ways of doing it because when I was solving this, I used a more creative way to solve it. And then after I was done, I realized that okay, and you could use another way because Excel is so brilliant and wonderful that you can get so many different ways to solve just one question. So I'm going to quickly show you two ways I use. The first method is using an XLOOKUP. So we're going to be looking for this in once again the order column, and then what we're going to be returning is basically this entire item code order tickets, this entire thing. So drag it down, and then now it shows it's a spill because basically we have multiple columns. But now what we're going to do with this spill is that we are going to count how many each of them are. So using the count a function as well, like we did in the bonus. So we're going to be counting the amount of cells that are not empty within this XLOOKUP that we did, and then that will give us the answer. So once again, absolute referencing. This is very important. You never know until you drag it down and then you're getting weird answers or even a value error, and you search, and you finally realize that because you didn't lock the cells. Trust me, I'm speaking from experience. So Control C, and the answer is 4 in the example. So let's see if that applies to it. So drag it all the way, and yeah, it is 4. So we can simply just drag it down now. So that gives us the answer for that. Now the second way that I use, or the first way, this one, what I did now, the XLOOKUP was the second thing I did. The first thing that I did, let me just delete these ones. What I did was that I basically used something like what we did in the previous level. So I did an XLOOKUP for this, search for this, and then I returned this again, the uh the order tickets. I need to, yeah, the order tickets. Oh, sorry, I think I made a mistake there. Yeah, I made a mistake somewhere. I felt it as I typed, as I clicked the keyboard. I think yeah, I made a mistake there. So let's write it again. So we're searching for this, and we are searching for it in this, and then we want to return this. Okay, so it returns it. Now what I noticed was that to count each one, normally you could use the len function, and the len function will just give you how many characters are in it, but we want to count each order there. So one thing you notice is that each order can be represented by 3 characters. So CB slash is basically one order, JB slash is another order, BE slash is another order, SS is another order, SS is another order, and WB is another order. So what we can do is just find the len of this, and as we did in the previous level, that gives us the amount of characters. But since each order can be represented by 3 characters, we just take the answer for the len and we divide it by 3. So that gives us a decimal. But you can easily just convert this. Oh, sorry. You can easily just reduce this to a whole number, and that gives us the answer. So I forget? I think I forgot to, yeah, I forgot to lock the cells. So locking the cells, and then I'll do it again. So yeah, so that gives us the same answer. So you can use anyone, you get the same answer, but yeah, this is another way to do it. Now we move on to level 4, another medium task or question. It says how many orders contain the given item code listed first in the given date. So basically the first item in an order is listed in column F in the historical data. So how many orders contain the given item code? And it says there, the example is that there are 852 orders that contain a cheeseburger as the first item. Out of the 852 orders, 27 are on this date. So what we are going to do is this. So first of all, one thing I like to do is for this kind of questions, I like to just simply create like a points column, and you see what I'm going to use it for in a bit. So basically I give everything 1 point. So what I plan on doing here is that we're going to use the SUMIFS. So we're going to sum this column, which contains 1 1 1 1. We're going to sum them if they possess these two qualities. So we're going to be using the sum if, since there are two conditions. So the sum range would be the points column, and then the criteria range for the first one is that it says the item code should be this, that if they contain this item code first, then so the first order would be this. So if the first order contains that item code, then that's the first condition. So this is the range, and the criteria would be the item code. Then it says the date must be this. So for that, we go to the dates column, select it all, and then the criteria is this. So sum it gives us 25. So we have a lot of locking to do. So sorry, doing this, and then so you see the importance of the points now. So basically we can check if this is correct by once again copying it and then dragging the formula to the example. It also gives us 27, so we are correct. So we can drag this down, and that's the answer. So level 5, 3 more to go. It says what is the name of the third menu in the given order? So this is actually very easy. Once again, we're going to be using the XLOOKUP, and the whole premise is we're going to be looking up the order, and we're going to be returning the third item. Now, they've helped us in this data set because they put a number for each item. So we know everything in this column is the third item. So we're going to be using an XLOOKUP, and we're going to be returning this column. So that's equals to XLOOKUP. And then we're going to be searching for this in the order column, and then we're going to be returning the third item. So this is second, this is the third item. So instead of wasting time and dragging it down, we just drag this whole thing down, and we know this is column H, so drag the whole thing down, then change it here. So this is column H. So now it returns the item code. What do you notice? They asked us to return the name. So example for this, it returned HD, but what the answer was hot dog. So we have to actually return the names of the items. So once again, we can use another X lookup. So we are going to X lookup the answer for the first X lookup. So this returned BB. Whatever it returns, we're going to ask it to search for it here. So for example, it returned BB. I mean this code returned BB. And so we're going to ask it to search for BB here. And then we're going to ask it to return the name, the actual name. So just before we go ahead, I'm going to lock it. We're going to lock the cells. Lock this, and lock this. So we also need to lock these ones as well. It makes everything faster because we are basically just going to have to drag the formula down. So as you can see, it's returned it. And is everything locked? I think everything that's meant to be locked is locked. So just drag this down. And you can see the answers. So let us see if we are correct. You never know. It's always important to check if you're correct. And so we drag this up, gives us a hot dog, so we are correct. Next, we move to level 6. Level 6 is medium hard, so I guess it's easy but not too easy, or however you interpret that. How many orders contain both item codes consecutively as shown at least once? So this is a very interesting question. It says, I can read again. How many orders contain both item codes consecutively? So given the ID item codes, we need to check which orders contain the two of them, and they must be consecutive, meaning that they must appear as exactly the way they have been written here. So CB has to come exactly after FR, and FR has to come exactly CB has to come exactly before FR, and FR has to come after CB. So what we can do is this. I'll probably just illustrate it here on the table. What we can do is this. So let's create a new column for search, and I do not like the way these two are just like outliers. So let's just do that. Yeah, it's like a pet peeve, I guess. But so what we're going to be doing is the search. So basically, the search function takes a text and it sees if it is contained in a cell like this. So let's say we put my name, Tomi. That's the short version of my name, ONAS. So we can use the search function equals to search to find, let's say we want to find if it has Tomi, Tomi, and within this. So if the word you are searching for, in this case Tomi, is present, it will return the first character, which is 1, because Tomi starts on the first character. So it will return the first character where it found it. So in this case, it was 1. But if it isn't, if what you're looking for isn't there, let's do an example. Let's search for burger. It will have an error. So you know that if it returns a number, then that means what you're looking for is present. And if it returns an error, that means what you're looking for is not present. So let's apply that to solve the question. So basically, what we're going to be doing is that now I'm actually even thinking that we might not even need the column. So let's try it for the individual aspects, or I'm thinking, okay, let's try to solve it for the first one. So we're going to be searching for this within this, and then we'll see if it's so. As you can see, it searched for it within all the other tickets. And the ones where you see errors, the value error, are the ones where it didn't find it in. But as you can see, for this, it actually found it. And let's see, it was looking for CBWB. Let's see if it actually contains there. So this is the order ticket here. And as you can see, there's CBWB there. So we know it's correct. So we can do it for each of them by doing basically the same formula, equals to search this within this. So this will produce a spill result. So we're going to do the same thing we did for question one, I think. I think it was question one, or was it the bonus question one? I'm not sure. And we're just going to count basically how many of them are we're basically just going to count how many of them are numbers. So we're going to use the count function, and the count function counts the amount of cells that have numbers included in them. So when we count it, we see that the answer is 313. So just going to have to do this then. Okay, so we can drag it down. Sorry, my bad. And then it gives us the answer. So let's see if we are correct. Once again, copy paste and then drag it up. Yeah, so we are correct. We move on to the next question. Oh, that was I was looking. I knew I forgot something. We should lock these. I knew I forgot to do something. That was why I was hesitant. Should lock these and then yeah. So this is the correct answer. So we move on to the last normal question, level 7, and this is the hardest one. So it says, what is the total amount charged for each order? So given the order ticket, all this, how much is charged? Remember in the beginning, they gave us a menu table and it showed us the items as well as the item code and the price. So we are going to find out the total cost of each order. So to do that, what we are going to do is to create a new table. So we're not really using this anymore, so we can just call this maybe costs. Or, I mean, to create a new column. My bad. Actually, we don't even need. We don't need to replace this. We can just basically do this sequence. Can create a sequence of all the item codes in the order ticket individually, and then we can find how much each of them cost. So we are going to do sequence 17. I think yeah, it stopped at 17. Yeah, it stopped at 17. So 17, the start should be 1 and the step should be 1. So that has given us 1 to 17. Once again, I will format it. Also format the bottom part to pet peeve. Okay, so now we're going to be finding the cost. To find the cost, we're going to use another XLOOKUP. So the XLOOKUP in this case would be, we're going to be looking for this within the menu table. So the item code within this, and then we're going to be returning the price. So as you can see, it returned $10. Now, normally we're supposed to just drag it till the 17th one, and we're going to do that, but you'd have expected us to lock it. But in this case, we actually want it. We want it to change. So we're going to drag this down. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, this we are supposed to lock one thing. So we are looking for this in the order ticket column. So we're going to lock that column and the return array as well. Sorry, forgot that. So let us apply it for everything again. And as you can see, it has applied it. So we are also going to apply it to everything here. And if you can see, we have the an error message. These are for like the cells that don't have anything. So as you can see in this case, there's the number 9 doesn't have anything in the cell, so it's giving an error. So for that, what we can do is we can add a new item to the table, and then we just leave it blank. So and we'll put the price as 0. So basically, we extend the XLOOKUP to this blank cell, and if there are any blanks, it will result in 0. So to do that, just need to add 1 to it, also 1 to this as well. So we do everything and then drag it again. So that is the updated version, and now we can just do it for each number. And then when we are done doing this, we just simply find the sum of it all, and then we use an XLOOKUP to retrieve the amount respective to the order that we've been given, or the order number that we've been given. So this is very, very helpful. And then we are done. So here we can just basically put a sum or total cost, and then that would basically just be the sum of everything here. So for the first one, we have 55. Sorry, I'm making mistakes with the mouse. And then we just drag it down, and that gives us the total cost of each of them. So we can simply just do an XLOOKUP and then retrieve the costs for the respective order numbers that we've been given. So we'll be searching for the order number in the order number column, and then we want it to return the total price that we've calculated. So there are too few arguments. I don't know what is wrong. I keep adding the first argument, but I don't know, it keeps erasing. But we've added it again now, and so it gives us 13. So we're going to lock the cells, and then we're going to try it for the example to see if we are correct. So Control C, Control V. Now we drag it to the example, and that gives us 55, so we are correct. Now we drag it to the rest of them, and then that is everything. So these are all the levels completed, but we still have the bonus questions to solve. So let's quickly go over those ones. So we solved the first one. We have bonus question 2 to 5 to do. So the second bonus question says, what is the total number of juice boxes ordered across the historical data? And since we've done level 3, we are able to do this. So to find the total number of juice boxes ordered, go to the historical orders table, and then so let's analyze this. To find the total amount of juice boxes ordered, we're basically just going to be counting how many times juice boxes appears. So this is going to be a simple count statement. So count Yeah, let's do count if. Sorry. So we're going to be counting if they are juice boxes. And so the juice box code or the item code for juice boxes are JB. So the range would be this. All the items, and then the criteria would be JB, so only juice boxes, and then that gives us 5,475. So that's that. uh what is the total quantity of the least popular item? So the total quantity sold for the least popular item. So we are going to be counting basically the number of all the items that were sold, and then the minimum amount there would be our answer. That would be the least item sold. So uh, we can just do it beside. So another count if. So the range would be this range again, and then the criteria would be the item code. So that is the value of that, and then we lock it because we're going to drag it down to give us uh, the total quantity sold for the respective menu items. So that is it, and as you can see, the juice boxes answer matches, so we know we're on the right track. So to find the total quantity sold of the least popular item, we just find the minimum of this, and then that gives us 5342. And as it seems, the cheeseburger is the least popular item. I see why it is. I'm from Nigeria. We don't eat cheese there, so I understand why it's the least popular item. It says the bonus question 4 is how many orders included 7 or more items. Okay, so how many orders included 7 or more items? Now if we go back, um, remember we did a column that basically has the amount of orders in them. So the number of orders in each order, or the number of items ordered in each order, and that's the max orders column. So we just need to count them if they are greater than or equal to 7. So we're going to be doing the sum if with how many orders. So in this case, it's not going to be a sum, it's going to be a count. So count if, and then it should be this column, and then the criteria would be if it is greater than or equal to 7. Oh, oh, I am making a mistake. My bad, I'm sorry. So if it is greater than or equal to 7. Or equal to 7. So I forgot to add the um, quotation marks. So it says 370, sorry, 3,751 orders contain 7 or more items. So I'm just looking at the question again. I'm trying to reread it. It says how many orders included 7 or more items. Okay, good. So we're done with that. And then the last one says what is the maximum amount spent in a single order? So we've done the total cost of each order. That's the one we did here, the total cost. And yes, before we end the video, I make sure to do this as well. So we just need to find the maximum amount spent. So it's easily a max function, and then going to be dragging this down. So the maximum amount in the total cost column is 135. So that's the maximum amount spent in each order, and that completes the bonus question section for the April 2025 Excel MECC case file. I hope you learned a lot. It was very fun doing this. Have a good day. If you're watching this at night, have a good night. If you're watching this in the afternoon, the same thing. So continue to practice Excel, and this was very fun to do. Thank you very much. Bye.